Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Dark, which is the new Netflix original show. It is a German original, although Netflix tried to trick me by defaulting it to the English audio
Yeah,
track.
and also while we're on that, this I think it was I don't know if it's just the start of this first episode or if it's going to be an ongoing thing where it kind of fades to darkness at the very start.
Okay.
And while I was it, but it would do it while I'm trying to change the audio track, and it would fade the audio track selection as well. It was really annoying.
Yeah, it didn't happen to me. So, I don't know what's going on there. That may be.
I'm just holding it against Netflix because
I,
it's
I,
they should just let me pick an audio option before all that and not have to change it every episode.
did you have to go on this tirade when all I was doing was introducing what the show was?
It really annoyed me. Getting out of the way.
I haven't even said what the premise of the show is yet. You're going on a tirade about technical faults. Alright, so what is Dark? Dark is a German original, as I said. It is a 10 episode series. This will start off spoiler free because it's episode 1 of a new show. We'll give you a warning somewhere in the middle for spoilers, and we'll go from there. But so this is a dark. No, I didn't even mean that. But like the word dark's going to be used, right? Because it's got a dark
All right,
tone.
fine. I'll allow
It
it.
just is, right? That's like having a movie called The Box, and the main plot thing in it's a box, but trying to avoid using the word box because you don't want to just keep saying box. You know, like no, just no. So, it is a thriller where there's kids going missing, and there's been a suicide. There's some stuff going on like that. So it's kind of got a murder mystery kind of missing kids vibe. However, on top of that, there are time travel elements,
Yes.
which we won't say much about before spoilers because it's definitely something that the show is keeping close to its chest. I mean, it's showing that there's something going on, but it's not really.
Yeah, yeah. And again, the idea of it being a part of the show has been there in the trailers. It's
Oh,
been
sure,
part
yeah,
of the premise, so we're okay to say that much.
yeah, but I'm not saying any more about the time elements. But there is something else to it. There's something a little bit more going on than just kids are going missing, and mystery. Well, I'll just say it's a mystery.
It
So
is.
that's kind of the thing. It's interestingly set because obviously I know coming in there's time stuff and there's that quote from Einstein at the start of the episode, but because I was saying it's set in 2019. Now, admittedly, it's not that far in the future. It's just,
No, but it's always an interesting choice. Why not just
yeah,
now?
yeah, it's less than 2 years. Maybe because the it keeps referencing 33 years ago. This might be a dull reason, but I wonder if just they wanted the past state to be that specific year, so it had to
It
be the
must be,
present.
yeah.
Yeah, but there could be something more interesting than that. I don't know, but that's where it's set. It's set in 2019. We start the show with someone we don't really know committing suicide, and they leave a note, and we kind of pick up a few months after that, and we kind of meet a group of characters. We meet a group of kids who go to the high school. We meet a group of the parents, and one of the first things I was kind of realizing, maybe about 10 minutes in, was I wouldn't compare the tone or. I mean, you could argue the plot because there's someone going missing is kind of Twin Peaksy, but I wouldn't compare the tone of the characters to Twin Peaks. But I would compare the fact that there's so many characters and all of them seem to be connected in different ways. Because I was getting to a point where I'm like, all right, so that kid's parent is dating that kid's parent, and then that other they work with that other adult whose husband is a psychiatrist to one of the other kids we've already met. Like there was
Yeah, yeah.
that going on.
This is something we did a lot in the first episode of Twin Peaks. It was just like, it's just a web.
Yeah, it is a web. In fact, much like Twin Peaks, before we started this, we sat down with the cast list and went through trying to kind of remember what the names were. It's going to take us a few episodes we'll be doing a lot of name checking as we go because
Yeah.
a lot of characters. It does not help when a lot of the names. I mean, some of them are normal. I mean, one's named Peter, which is my name, but a lot of them are irregular names that we're used to. So although that said, Magnus is a really cool name.
It's not bad.
I,
It's not bad.
we should be so lucky to be named Magnus upon our birth. So that's kind of the premise. So I suppose I'll ask the question that I usually ask when it's the first episode. Connor, did you enjoy the first episode of
I did.
Dark?
I did. I didn't love it because a lot of it is just trying to figure out who everyone is. I spent so much time doing that I couldn't quite get into the actual mystery yet because I'm just trying to play catch up still. But once I get my head around that, going into episode 2, I think I'll enjoy it a lot more.
I feel like by the time I got to the end of the episode, I had a good grasp. I mean, maybe not names, but I had a good grasp on who all the players were.
Right. So the last like 5-10 minutes are really good.
Yeah.
But up till that point, I was kind of just in my head constantly going, okay, so this is that. And
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily taking in and enjoying the episode. I'm just going, okay, I'm getting the information.
I think I enjoyed it a bit more than you. Not that you didn't like it,
No,
but
like I said, I still say it's pretty good.
because there was lots of little things throughout the episode that were bringing up. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be important. Like, I feel like
yeah, definitely.
I'm getting that details being logged because I feel like that's going to be a thing. And I think I'll say one of the big mysteries of this episode, which they set up early on, is that the man who commits suicide, Michael, he leaves a note, like a suicide note. That's what we assume it is because he leaves it just before he dies. But on the envelope, it actually says, "Do not open before November 4th." But even more so than that, it very specifically says before, I think it was 11:15 or 11:30.
10:13.
10:13. There you go.
PM.
Which is, very specific.
Yeah. and we should point out this when he hangs himself. That's in June.
Yeah, it's a few months.
So yeah. Just to be clear, like this is really specific. It's not just this is a week away. This is 6 months.
So for me, I'm okay, right? So I know there's some time things going on. So the fact that he's being so specific makes me wonder. Okay, what has he been involved in? What is he doing? What's happening?
What does he know that happens on that night at that time?
If that's what's going on, like, there's so many different things here that my mind's already kind of firing and going away. I think a lot of this first episode though does spend its time letting us get to know the characters, and for the most part, I wouldn't say they're necessarily likable in like a fun way, but I think they're all strong enough that I get a sense of who they are within the confines of the show.
Yeah, I'd say they're good characters, but that doesn't necessarily make them likable.
Yeah, like I feel like they make it more like because the kids especially, most of them are a little bit obnoxious. You're kind of getting a different personalities. You get that one guy's into this girl who everyone kind of dislikes, and you get that these two are a couple now, and that's kind of weird because the kid who's been away for a while kind of had a thing for her, and it's setting up these things. And you get a sense of them, and they're all just kind of obsessed with getting drugs in this first episode. So there's nothing necessarily that likable going on with them. But you kind of get the feeling that once shit is going to go down, which it kind of does later in the episode, that them all dealing with this and trying to figure things out later. Like I think this is why some people called this the German Stranger Things when it was first kind of revealed. Which I don't necessarily agree with that premise. But if all the teenagers start working together to try and figure things out separately from the parents, I can kind of see where that comparison comes in.
I still see why people were saying that. There's just enough there that I get why people would make that comparison, especially as when we got the trailer and people were talking about this. Stranger Things was fresh on everyone's mind.
Yeah, so but I think you can kind of see how this group of characters are going to come together and how some of them can grow, and the parents as well to a large extent. The fact that because we set up some backstory stuff in this first episode. Something happened in the town 33 years ago that involved the family of the cop who's the father of a bunch of the kids. Because that's the thing. So we have the man who committed suicide. We had his wife and his son. So his widow and his son who are around. They're two main characters. We then have the policeman who is married to the school principal, where all the kids go to school. At least all the teenagers go to school. Maybe the younger brother probably doesn't go there, but. So you have them married, and they have 3 kids who are also main characters. That's Magnus, who's the older brother. You have the older sister, who's Martha, and you have the little brother, who's Mikhail, which I remember well because they all start with M. And I think the parents were smart to give them a set. Like we're going to give them a set of names.
Yeah. Have a theme.
Exactly, have a theme. And I'll never forget Martha now that I know her name's... I never got that from the episode, but now that I know her name's Martha, I can just hear Batman v Superman in my head, and it's never going to go away now.
No, you're
Martha,
right.
Martha, why did you say that name?
That name is always memorable now. That movie has ruined that name.
So I can only assume that we're going to get a future thing at some point as well, in 30 years, when her kid's grown up, and her name's going to be what resolves the situation in the future. I can only assume.
Yeah, sure.
So we actually start when we start the show. There's already a kid that's went missing. There's some ginger kid named Eric.
Yes.
I remembered his name somehow.
Did you have to point out he was ginger? Was that really relevant?
I think it is because you see his poster repeatedly, and I think because we've never seen him in person, I think when we actually see him in person, the fact that he's got that really distinct red hair is actually what makes you sure that it's him. Because
Okay,
we've never met him.
no one else is ginger.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll allow it. I also remembered his name was Eric. Weirdly, I don't remember any of the other names without checking. But
it's because
Eric.
They kept talking about him being missing, so that his name has been brought up constantly.
Yeah.
So it works. So yeah, so a lot of this episode is setting up the characters, setting up who they are, and setting up the sort of the initial thing that's going to like catapult the story going forward. And I think it probably focuses more on that. And I wouldn't say to a fault. I actually think it spends the amount of time that it probably should spend on it. This is where it sort of benefits from being a binging show, where it's like, no, you can go straight on to episode 2 and watch where the plot goes next. So I wouldn't hold that against it. I think it actually, given that there is so many characters, having a good sense of who they all are before things really get going is probably a good idea.
Yeah, me saying I didn't necessarily enjoy it because it was getting to know the characters, I don't mean that in a negative way, because it is what it has to do. It makes sense to do this now, so going forward I don't have to worry about this. I know them now. We can do the plot. It's definitely the right thing to do. It just makes it a little maybe less interesting than actually having the plot.
I was into this first episode quite a bit though. I do have some kind of minor nitpicks. Like there's maybe one or two things where I'm like, oh maybe like did we need 2 love triangles potentially introduced in episode 1? Which, to be fair to it, I don't think the way they're handling it right now at least is particularly bad, because I think because of the tone that the world's got, it's got a very different feel to most love triangles. Like most love triangles, they'll be in I don't know, like a network show. They'll be like the world will either otherwise be bright and cheery, or it'll be something that's just constant sex and constant like betrayal and stuff. Whereas here it's like more, no, there's something else more serious going on. I guess this is where I'm kind of like drawing the Twin Peaks comparisons a little bit. The idea that there's like an affair going on somewhere, and
yeah, like I said, tangled web.
Yeah, tangled web, exactly. So, but no, I'm interested in the characters. I think a lot of them are interesting. I do think the policeman looks a little bit like Mads Mikkelsen at times. And that was making me sort of...
Now that you've said it, I can see it.
Yeah, I was getting some Mads vibes from him, which isn't a bad thing. But
no, it's not. It's a compliment, if anything.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously the last 10-15 minutes kind of ramp everything up and sort of set up the core... If I'm comparing it to Twin Peaks, the final 15 minutes is, we just found Laura Palmer's body. If I'm comparing it to that show.
Yeah. And I think this is where you can compare it to Stranger Things a bit. This is the kid going missing. This is that moment at the end of the first episode of Stranger Things.
Yeah. But I think what this show has differently from those shows, though, especially Stranger Things, is the idea that there's so much backstory as well that's relevant, because we're going to be playing with time and we're going to be playing with things that happened 30 years ago. So
yeah, and again, to be different to Stranger Things, I mentioned there, that's kind of where the plot kicks off at the end of that episode with that going missing. Whereas here, we're kind of already deep in it. There's already someone missing. There's already a lot of stuff going on or already happened in the past that we're kind of getting hints at.
Yeah. So, no, I'm into the mystery. I like the dark tone, because it does make it feel very different from... Even though we're comparing it to Twin Peaks, we're comparing it to Stranger Things, I think it's got a very different tone to either of them.
Yeah, definitely.
It has almost more of a serious, like, dark, like, thriller, killer kind of vibe to it than those
I mean,
two.
out of the ones that we've been comparing it to, the closest would be the newest season of Twin Peaks, but even that, it's still different.
Yeah, that's still really quirky. This is not quirky.
No, not at all.
But again, it's not a complete... I like that it's got its own vibe. It's just got doing its own thing. If anything, I'd say it's Stranger Things meets Mindhunter. Meets something with time travel.
Yeah, take your pick.
Yeah, so they had something with time travel in, but that's.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we'll drop the spoiler free. We'll go into spoilers so we can talk about plot and talk about the hints and the seeds and the stuff we want to talk about.
Just before that, I just want to talk about the music.
Oh, did you like the music?
For the most part, yes.
Right. Okay.
I like a lot of what it does. However, it has that one main theme. That the strings that kind of they come in, they get louder, and then they cut off. And it does that a lot. And I like it to a point, but I can feel it already being a little overused, and I'm a little cautious going forward. But all the other music that it is using when it's doing something else is really good stuff. So I like it when it's doing something else.
I don't really remember this.
Oh man, I don't know how.
It wasn't sticking out to me in the same way it was you. Maybe now that you've mentioned it, maybe next episode
Maybe you just got to notice it all the time now. Yeah.
yeah. But certainly it wasn't. I actually thought the music for the most part for me wasn't really jumping out at me, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just it's doing its thing under the surface without being like.
Yeah.
I felt like I was noticing low rumbles in my bass a lot more than I was anything else from the music.
Okay. There were some really nice pieces towards the end, especially.
Oh yeah, but when everything's going down at the end, yeah, there was some quite a bit more emotion sort of
Yeah.
in there.
There were
Yeah,
some really nice pieces, but that main theme that recurs a lot, which you will notice now I've said it,
the
is
the
fine.
end the end credits are really loud. See when it cut to the titles at the end.
Yeah, I actually found. I mean, I watched this on the 2.0 mix, not the 5.1, so I can't speak for that. I did find it a little mumbly in the dialogue, and a lot of the stuff was quite loud around it.
Do you know it's harder to judge when it's not in a language you speak because
Oh, that's fair.
I feel like most languages to me that aren't English sound mumbly, but I think it's just because I don't understand them. So all the little it's kind of like how they just sound like noise to you because it just doesn't make sense.
See, I see. Usually, I can still I still typically get inflections and the actual word structure. Whereas here, as I was finding them kind of blending together a bit, I was really having to focus in on the sound to get the tone.
I didn't have a problem with tone.
Okay,
I don't have a problem- I don't have a
maybe
problem with tone.
maybe I know you watch on the 5.1
Yeah.
mix. Maybe that mix is better.
Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, so that's spoilers, full spoilers from this point on. So where to begin? So rather than going through it, because obviously we'll pick up some character stuff, but I want to talk about the plot first, the mystery, what's going on, the hints. So first big thing, right now, admittedly they ended up talking about it a lot more than I thought they were this episode. But the minute that Jonas, who's the character whose father killed himself, he's always wearing a yellow jacket. He's on all like the posters and stuff. As soon as he's like riding his bike or whatever, and he's going past this nuclear power plant, I'm like, wait a minute. Giant nuclear power plant. I feel like something something
He
to do with
even
this.
stops and looks up at it.
Yeah, but even before that, I was thinking, but that's and then he stopped and looked up at it. And I was like, okay. And then there was like something on the news later. It was like, oh, they're shutting down this nuclear power plant after 33 years of like use and no accidents. And I'm like, no accidents, my ass. There's some wonky things going on because of that plant. I tell you right now.
Yeah, we have one of the other characters. I can't remember who it was. Talk about out in the woods, they found like a squirrel with 5 legs or something like that. It was the idea of okay, no, this nuclear plant has had an impact, and some of them believe that it's done more than they've been led to be told clearly.
Yeah, so basically, obviously, this Eric kid's been missing. We do get one shot of him in the middle that implies that he's in the past because the room's just kind of white and it's kind of a cell, but we see the TV playing and it's playing. It's You Spin Me Round.
Yeah.
On the TV, and it's like okay, is he in the? He doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's certainly implying it.
No, but it's a big TV, like that sort of thing. The picture quality looks like it's from
CRT,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like okay, this could be.
Yeah. That said, you can still find one of those that's working.
You can.
They filmed the scene with one, so
Yeah.
but
Good luck finding one in 2 years.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be any less hard to find one in 2 years than it is now. They're
Yeah, I still think they're harder to find, but
oh,
you
they
can find-
are. But if anything, I imagine that most shows and movies now that need one of these, they'll have like a special place they can order them from or
There's
something.
definitely like one store that just has them for rentals, just for
This
for
kind of thing.
TV and movies.
Yeah, that's probably true. But so we see this, and we don't get much in this scene, but we just get this little bit. It's actually later on when we find a kid's body. More on that in a bit, but you can see that this kid's eyes are like not just his eyes, this entire part of his face, where his eyes would be like a big sort of band across his face, his head, it's all burned. And when we go back to this white room with Eric, he's got into this chair, and it's got this big metal thing that clamps around his head, and you're like, okay, this is clearly the thing that did this to the kid. Whatever this villain is doing with the hood, because he's got like a big hood on, which I kind of like. It's kind of like how Jonas has got the yellow jacket. This guy's like a dark green jacket. It's kind of a similar,
Yeah, yeah.
Opposite kind of thing. But he's doing experiments, or I say experiments. I feel like whatever he's doing, he's trying to achieve something specific. Maybe something to do with time.
It's too specific to be random.
Well, like he's trying to use these kids to. But then again, it's not like he has to go back to the present day because he's taking kids from present day in some way.
Right, but the implication of the kid showing up at the end with the mark is he's sending them back, right?
Oh, no, because I have a theory on who that kid is.
Oh, okay.
But in fact, it shows you who that kid is, kind of. Maybe not specifically his identity, but it clearly shows that he's from the 80s. He's not he's not a present day kid. And I think it's the cop's brother, because they mention the backstory is the policeman Ulrich. His brother went missing 30 years ago. His mother like talks about it and says, "Oh, it's happening again." Blah blah blah. It just feels the same.
Sending them back was maybe the wrong choice, but maybe he's still sending people forward.
He's swapping them out.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, but because you see the old cassette Walkman.
And the shoes.
The shoes. Because I was actually expecting the Ulrich to stand up and be like, "Oh, that's not Mikhail. That's what his brother's name is."
I don't know it. No.
I have no idea. But I was kind of half expecting that. It didn't. So I mean, yeah. So it probably isn't him, but because they never mentioned it, unless he's just still in shock. That said,
he could be just keeping it quiet because he's like, no, it can't be.
Yeah, it'll sound crazy. He's not had time to really process it. Whereas once he actually gets him in a morgue and they look at him and they take evidence and DNA and whatever, yeah, sure, maybe at that point. But I really like the scene of him, like both this scene and then the scene when they first arrive at the woods after Mikhail's went missing.
Mm.
Like, it's just the emotion there, all the parents coming to get the kids. Because I was actually a little bit confused for a split second because I thought that everyone in the town got a message on their phone.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me as well.
But then I realised, no, it's just all of the parents of these kids who are getting messages.
Yeah.
And that made a lot more sense. I was like,
I think they could have been a bit clearer with that at first. I think it was just maybe in the way they filmed it, but like, I think because we saw like there was a lot of people, and it seemed like other people were rummaging around as well.
I think it's because at that point you didn't realise that the hotel manager or owner was the parent to the best friend Bartos. You didn't realise that was his mum. But once I clicked, I was like, oh, it's just all the parents who got calls from them because obviously Mikhail's went missing and they're all terrified. And obviously they all ran from that cave because they heard this noise, something which I have to assume is like the opening of the wormhole or whatever we're using to travel through time.
Yeah.
Rather than because it sounds kind of like a monster, but I'm pretty sure it's not actually a monster.
I agree.
But thematically, it works.
Monster's too easy
because danger's coming. The killer, whoever this is, evil scientist.
I love them when they're all running away. Jonas takes Mikhail, and he falls over, and then he gets up. And Mikhail's not there, but for a moment, because no one else is there either, because they've all run ahead. I wondered, did he just time travel? Like, when he fell down, when he got up, is he in the past? I was like, oh, is this what's going on?
Because it looked the same, more or less.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just a different time of day, but because just because he's traveling 33 years doesn't necessarily mean that he's going at the same time of day.
But if he travels to exactly 33 days.
Yeah. That's fair. But so I just so obviously we have this noise, we have the kids being scared, and I think this is going to all scare them to actually not be such waste of space, because most of them, for the most part in this episode, they're just kind of like, obviously you've got Jonas who's a bit more kind of like quiet and he doesn't want to talk to people, but his friends like obsessed with going and getting these drugs that he thinks are out in the woods because Eric had them when he went missing. So silver lining to him that Eric's went.
Yeah. No real concern. They're just like, nah, he's run off. Let's go get his drugs.
Yeah, but yeah, and obviously like Magnus like keeps hitting his brother on the back of the head like all episodes. So okay, you're kind of the douchebag big brother.
To be fair, do that a lot myself as an older brother. It's very relatable.
As an older child, I
think every older brother will relate. Yeah, the moment where the other kid comes up and slaps him on the back of the head and he goes, "Hey, no, only I can do that," and then smacks him. Been there.
As an only child, I have no time for this. No time for it at all. Horseplay can take a running jump.
It's standard.
But no, so you get a sense of these characters. You get a sense that the sister Martha, she's kind of she wants to. She's on a hunger strike at the start of the episode, and her mother's like, no. You starving won't help anyone eat. Like, so you can tell she cares about things. She's an activist of some kind, and she's trying to do all this stuff. But she which is funny. But it's funny that Jonas has a thing for her, because little did they know that his mother and her father are having an affair right now.
Yes.
Behind her mother's back, who is the school principal. Well, this is where it starts to get a bit convoluted, because you feel like, man,
Yes.
all these connections, and they're all important people in the town, and like, which
Yeah.
is great, but
This is why there were points in this episode I was like, okay, so there, that, instead of just going, there's the affair, I'm missing some of the scenes. I'm going, oh, that's how that's connected. I'm going, oh, that's who these are, and I'm kind of missing what's actually going on for a minute.
yeah, because when he first when Ulrich sneaks out of the house at the start after the sex scene, at first you think, oh, he's maybe just hiding, because obviously his like father killed himself, X amount of months ago.
So he doesn't want to think
But-
that she's
yeah.
moved on from his dad.
Yeah, but then he comes home and it's like, oh no, wife and 3 kids. This is,
Yeah.
okay, right. So we have flawed characters. Oh, by the way, here's a bit of speculation. What if the kid who showed up from the 80s isn't his brother? What if the killer's his brother?
Wouldn't his brother have been really young in the 80s?
Well, yeah, but what if he's not? What if that? Because we see like an adult, right, strapping Eric in, right? We don't see his face,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
What if like it wasn't him originally, but now he's the one doing it? But he's grown up for 30 years. Like he's
Okay, I'm with you. So he's the one in present day, so to speak,
Yeah.
on this end of it.
kind of, yeah. But maybe he's been going back and forth through time, which is why he's just been he's been hiding successfully, because
Yeah, no, okay.
I have not much to go on
it
here.
could work.
Just throwing it out. They're teasing bastards though, because the grandmother, Michael's mother, who he committed suicide. I'm just kind of reiterating that just to give you a sort of starting point as to who's connecting to who. But she actually reads the letter. It hits that time. It hits 10. Was it 13?
13, yeah.
And she opens it, and I thought, oh, we're going to hear her read it, and she didn't. I was like, God damn it!
Yeah,
Tell me what it says.
I was expecting us to do, cut to what's going on in the woods, because this is at that point, and would get some
Yeah.
narration reading it over the top.
Because it was intercutting from that to the woods to Charlotte, who's the policewoman who works with Ulrich. Her father-in-law, who seems to be like old and kind of senile, but obviously he'd have been much younger in the 80s. He like just sort of wanders through town, comes into this school meeting they've got because Eric's missing, and he just starts saying it's happening again, it's happening. So you get this idea of this cycle, and is it important that it's 33 years specifically? In fact, if we're going to tie it to the nuclear power plant, is it relevant that it's when that started and when it's ending that the 2 points of like
I would
entry are?
agree, but it's not shutting down for another year. So why now? Why a year early?
That's fair.
But yeah. I think it was interesting as well. Jonas does not know about that note. He doesn't know that it exists, because he makes a point of saying that he wishes that his dad had left something to explain it.
Which told I don't know if that came first, or if finding out the grandmother had it came first. I can't remember which.
Apparently.
But because I remember thinking at the start, oh, maybe he's got the note, until it got to one of those two, whatever scene came first.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, it is like, is he going to open it at that time? And but whatever's in that letter, whatever's in that note, the grandmother gets very emotional about it. She cries.
She does, and I think it's really interesting that she actually waited. She presumably believed enough of whatever's been going on. If she knew anything, that she was like, oh, okay, no, I will wait till this point, because I shouldn't know before then.
And obviously, I think the big question as well that we've kind of not even looked at is, why did he kill himself? Because given what's going on, I wouldn't necessarily assume it's just because of normal guilt or normal depression. Like,
Yeah.
Either he's actually responsible for some of the stuff that's happening, or he believed he had to die to solve it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Maybe it was
Yeah.
one of those of, if he'd done some time traveling at some point, maybe he was a kid in the 80s, and he was younger in the 80s, and he went forwards to now, and he knew that he had to die.
In fact, hell, you could argue there's a little bit of some It reference in here, or homaging going on. Just the idea that we have some of them that were kids, stuff happened, and now they're adults.
And cycle of a set number of years.
And it wouldn't surprise me if we find out that more of these adults were kids at that time in the town and were in some way involved, or
I'm expecting to see some of them as
yeah,
kids in the 80s. Or I think that will be something we get
yeah.
a reasonable amount of.
I wonder if we actually get like just like scenes, like just like an episode set in the 80s. Usually this one was set in present day primarily, just with a couple of those quick little, mysterious bits. I wonder if we'll get episodes where it's more the 80s and the kids in the 80s.
I think we will, yeah.
Yeah. I don't recall anything from the trailers, but then again, it's been a
No,
while.
but most things from the trailer seem to have been in this episode.
Well, that's fair.
Everything that I recall from it, anyway.
Yeah, just sort of being around the crime scene, then walking towards the cave, that kind of stuff.
The trailers were pretty vague, to be fair. They were more about, setting a tone. There was very little dialogue in those trailers that I remember.
Which is the big thing, is that the tone is excellent. The tone is on point.
Yeah. And the trailers did a good job of selling the tone, because it is exactly what I expected on that level.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. So one or two other quick couple of plot points that might be more important later. Let me find the name. So Regina, who's Bartos's mother, she owns or runs the hotel, and there's just a scene where she's having money trouble with the bank. Apparently, tourism got bad after a kid went missing. So
yeah, people don't want to come and stay in the hotel. Understandable.
So at the whole town meeting at the school, like she's like adamant, no, hey, like let's not jump to conclusions. This kid's ran away before. Like that's not. And in fact, we even see the kid's parents. Like one of them spits in Charlotte's face.
Yeah, because they make a point of saying that he's run away before. Though they defend it and say, yeah, but he always comes back after a few days. This has been, I think it was like almost 2 weeks at that point.
Yeah, it's not silly to think of escalation, though. Like
it's not, and I think that's why the police are considering that at least. They're going, hey, this happens.
And to be fair, they remind them of that after pointing out that they've already interviewed like 200 people. They've combed the forest. Like they've done they've done a lot of the work already.
There are, but they have to agree there are things that don't make sense for someone to run away. He left the phone and the money under the bed.
Yeah,
if he was going to run away, wouldn't you take those things?
Yeah.
Especially the money, at least. I can see, you want to go off-grid, you leave the phone, but the money.
Obviously there's reasons, but again, they've done so much work already that you buy why they're suggesting, hey, this is a possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's no indication of like any kind of foul play, and that's the thing actually. Just about Mikkel's disappearance, I do kind of like how he just vanishes. Like you don't even get a shot of him going poof. You don't even get a moment where Jonas looks around and looks back. Jonas just trips and gets up and he's not there. It's the idea that he just went like that.
Yeah,
without looking.
I love that it's a great cut in the sense that it happens as he goes down. So it goes dark as he hits the ground, and then he comes up and he's just gone. It's a really good moment for that.
And it makes me wonder, like, is there someone coming through time to grab them, or is it more like he turns on a machine and it zaps them?
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, did they have to go through the cave almost to time? Was the cave like the portal almost? But it doesn't seem to be. No. Not based on that.
Not unless I get like someone physically came and grabbed him,
him, and then ran back. Although you'd have to have been quick to have done that.
I don't know. It makes me wonder though: is there more at play here? Like, did his father, and then by like default, like does Jonas have some kind of thing, like where I don't know, where he blacked out, or like what if his father killed himself because he realized that he was somehow not being the killer or the kidnapper, but he was somehow indirectly affecting things, like
right. So he was thinking, if I die, I can't cause it.
Yeah, like just in the sense that. I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit hole, but like Jonas say, like he's like a conduit or something, and I don't know. I'm going down a deep end.
No, I'm with you. It is a deep end and it's a stretch right now, but I get what you're saying. The idea, at least. We've
got 10 episodes, and well, we already. I mean, as the audience, we've already kind of accepted, right? So at least the kids that have been taken have went to the mid-80s, and at least one kid has popped up. And that's going to be the interesting thing for the characters, is they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, this kid, whether it's the cop's brother or not, this kid went missing in 1986.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, right, that's interesting. And he's the same age. Right. That's weird.
It is. And I'm really interested in, the guy who's taking them and, branding their eyes. What's he trying to achieve? Because right now,
I don't think he's brand like I think
I mean, that's presumably just a side
a
effect.
byproduct. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking. That's just
yeah.
what happens when he tries to do what
It
he's
is,
doing.
but I just yeah, just terminology. It's still a brand.
Sure.
But what's he trying to achieve with that? Is he trying to make them?
Is he trying
What
to?
is he trying to make them see?
Yeah, or is it less? Are the kids just kind of the fuel, if you will, for him trying to figure out a way to go back home? Like maybe he can't get to his time.
Yeah, could be.
Is he an alien? He's trying to get back to his own planet. I mean, I know that
Bit,
that
bit of a
sounds.
stretch now,
Yeah,
but
no, I know that sounds like a silly thing, but it's the sort of thing where if they build to it slowly over 10
yeah,
episodes
yeah.
and they leave it kind of open to interpret, like it's the sort of thing where I could see it, but I'm not saying it is. Like I don't
No,
think
no,
that.
I'm
But
with you. I remember how many times we said, "Hey, maybe this is aliens in Twin Peaks."
yeah, yeah, we said that a lot,
We
and
did.
that was not the case. But there was just cause to
There
maybe
was,
suggest
there
it.
was, and right now you're reaching a bit, but I'm not going to rule it out completely.
But this is the thing I'm saying. We've got 10 episodes of mystery to build this up. So whatever it's going to be, I don't think we could actually guess it right now.
No, definitely not.
The only thing I'm pretty sure of is that he's trying to, whoever this killer kidnapper is, he is trying to achieve a scientific goal of some kind. And the kids
Absolutely,
are just,
yeah.
and the kids are just what he needs. Either because it's to do with kids themselves, or they're just what the type of thing he needs to do his research or
Yeah,
try and achieve
I
it.
think it's interesting as well. They're clearly very different ages of kids that he's taking.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a specific young child or just specific to teenagers. It's okay. So both work presumably for whatever he's doing.
We don't know about Eric, but obviously the Ulrich's brother. So he had a brother, and then Mikkel has a brother. Is it maybe important, like if we find out that everyone has been taken had a sibling of some kind? Is that somehow? Is that to prove that time travel's a thing, maybe? Because when they pop back up later, the sibling will be, at an adult age. He'll go, hey, wait a minute, that's my brother or sister
No,
from...
could do. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think what's interesting as well is you mentioned how. Oh, okay, no, that one had a brother as well. It very much feels like a cycle. Like this is the exact same thing again. Like it'll follow the same patterns. So we could, if we see more of that, we can kind of understand what's going on.
Could be that, yeah. Like I say, we don't actually have enough variables yet to really make any...
We don't. We're kind
definitive
of
calls.
speculating here.
But I think what's to get across here is that we're interested enough in what's going on. We're intrigued by the mystery that we're actually our minds going and firing off, and so I'm actually excited. I was excited to see this, and after one episode, I'm actually like, no, this is kind of along the lines that I thought it was going to be, and I'm into it. So I'm excited to check out the rest. We're going to be going more or less one a day until we're done. There'll be 1 or 2 days where we skip a day for scheduling reasons because we'll have other stuff to do. But we're looking at maybe with 2 weeks total.
Yeah,
by the
give or
time we've
take.
done the 10 episodes. So
Assuming they don't surprise us with Black Mirror during this, in
That
which
is a
case
risk.
it will take longer.
if Black Mirror shadow drops while we're still doing Dark, it means we'll be alternating between Black Mirrors and Darks whenever that happens. So we can't. Honestly, Netflix don't shadow drop things. We like to schedule and plan in advance.
But there's enough going on that it's like they could do this now, and we're not happy about it.
They're teasing. They're releasing trailers for the episodes. We're not. Yeah,
We've got the review embargo is tomorrow.
Yeah, come on, Netflix, don't do this to us. Let us finish Dark first, please.
I know there's
let
just too much content. Netflix is destroying our schedules.
We're still got 2 episodes of Godless left to do. Well, actually, 3 episodes.
3.
I just watched.
Because you've just watched
yeah.
one. Yeah, I've got 3 to watch. You've got 2 to watch.
Yeah, but yeah, so but yeah, so that's Dark episode 1. I'm finding it promising. I'm looking
I agree
forward,
with that. Yeah,
I think the characters are strong enough right now, some more than others. I like Ulrich, despite the fact that he's cheating on his wife. I don't like that. That makes him a flawed character. But I think he's interesting. Like Ulrich, so far, I think he carries the scenes when he's in them. I think his gravitas, that Mads Mikkelsen
definitely.
persona.
It's why I say I don't think a lot of them are necessarily likable characters, because I think to an extent I maybe dislike most of them, but I think they're good characters in that they're interesting in what they're doing in the plot.
I think it's intentional though, because I think the idea is that because of what happened to this town when they were all kids, they're all kind of maybe a little bit messed
They're
up.
a bit screwed up. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And that kind of darkness has kind of spread throughout the generation, and now we're this is just why the mood in this town is this bad right now. And then obviously someone just killed themselves and left a wife and kid, and
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's
understandable. I'm not saying that as a criticism that they should be likable. I don't think that's something that everything has to be. They can be bad people or at least unlikable to an extent, and I still think they're interesting and I want to watch what they do.
yes. With that said, I think we'll wrap up this first discussion on Dark, and we'll tackle episode 2 probably tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
What day is it tomorrow?
Monday. Monday's tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah. So yeah, obviously we usually start these on the day they come out on the Friday, which is normally when Netflix launch things. Although sometimes once or twice now they've went a different day. But Connor was away on a trip for Friday and most of Saturday, so we didn't get a chance until today. But hey, let us know what you thought of this first episode of Dark in the comments and stuff. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and support everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailoffuzztv, and you can do that over there. There'll be a link to that in the description, link in the corner, the video, all that stuff. Yeah, so no, happy. I'm pretty happy with this first episode. I'm excited to see where this goes. So once again, thank you very much for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?